moment to remind ourselves of why we're here. So we're here to try to develop a better understanding of how things exist. What is the true nature of things, the reality of things, and the reason or purpose for doing this is so that we can clear up confusion in our minds, ignorance, not seeing things as they are, other disturbing thoughts and emotions that arise from that, like anger, irritation, depression, fear, jealousy, attachment, and so forth, which cause so many problems for ourselves, but also for others, because when we have these emotions in our mind, the way we act, the way we treat other people can be hurtful to them, can create problems for them. So the situation is very unsatisfactory, unhealthy. And so the way to clear up this situation is to look at our mind and look at the way we see things and check if we see things correctly or not. And try to clear up any mistakes, any misconceptions we have. And so this will be helpful for ourselves and also for others. And if we wish to develop our minds higher to a state of nirvana, to a state of enlightenment, then it becomes extremely beneficial for our attainment of enlightenment, at which point we can then work for the benefit of all living beings. So try to remember that we're here not just for ourselves, but also for others. Okay. Did any of you have any questions that came up in your discussion?
Yeah, just or something.
Any questions? Did you manage to solve everything?
One question popped up concerning, can you see any problems when meditating on impermanence? There was a question if under certain circumstances, people with certain dispositions, if they may fall in kind of an inactivity, just doing nothing anymore because it doesn't make any sense. Everything is impermanent, so for what should I act, for what should I do anything if everything is impermanent? Or if somebody can be also get depressed if he has a certain disposition, thinking everything is impermanent, it doesn't make any sense. So this was a question which was popping up.
Yeah, I think that could happen. I mean, normally impermanence is taught in the context of the whole Buddhist teaching. It's part of the whole package, many different things.
Yeah.
So if you understood impermanence as part of the Buddhist teaching, the Buddhist path, then I don't think that would happen, because because, for example, Buddha taught that, yes, it's true, everything is impermanent, changing, but, you know, we have the chance to change ourselves, to improve ourselves, to get beyond this transitory world where, you know, things are changing, nothing is reliable. We can rise above this and achieve higher states of mind, nirvana, enlightenment, where we're free of all the problems in this world. So, so a Buddhist who you know sees the whole picture, that whole picture, wouldn't. I would think. I mean, of course, we can't say for everybody, but they wouldn't become upset or depressed about impermanence because they understand that okay, I can achieve these higher states. But if you only taught impermanence and not the other
context
aspects,
of,
then it's possible that that would happen. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe it does depend on individuals. Because, for example, there's this, it's become very popular now, mindfulness. For example, Alexandra's not here, but she's doing this mindfulness counseling program that what's called mindfulness-based stress reduction.
Yeah.
That's become very popular. And I haven't studied it, but I mean it's based on Buddhist teachings of mindfulness. And does anyone know, do they teach people to be aware of impermanence, how things are changing?
Kabat-Zinn. Yes and no, not really, not in the way we do.
Because in Buddhism, that is the purpose of mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation is meant to help us see impermanence, to see the impermanent nature of things. Buddha, in the Theravada tradition, they talk about what are called the 3 marks of existence. Impermanence is one. Suffering, meaning unsatisfactoriness, the unsatisfactory nature of things. And then selflessness, the lack of a permanent self, a real permanent self. So those are 3 characteristics that exist, that are present in the world around us, and yet we don't see them. And so the practice of mindfulness in Buddhism, in the context of Buddhism, is to pay attention, to be really, really attentive to things, super attentive. And by that you come to see your own experience becomes, you see impermanence, you see suffering or unsatisfactoriness, you see selflessness. So, but I guess mindfulness has been taken out of that context and explained in a different way. I'm not sure how they teach it.
But I only know it, how they do it here, and it depends on the teacher again, the background.
Yeah.
I mean, even they wouldn't call it impermanence, you know, the changing aspect is there, to take care of the changing aspect.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I mean, yeah, in one sense, impermanence can be somewhat disturbing or depressing because we tend to want things to be stable, certain. You know, we want stability, certainty. So when you start thinking that, well, actually things are not so certain, not so stable, they're all changing and they're all going to fall apart, then it can be a bit scary and depressing. But on the other hand, there's positive aspects of impermanence.
Sure.
Yeah? Because if we, like I was saying this morning, if we were not impermanent, if we were permanent, we would be stuck the way we are. We wouldn't be able to change. And also the world would be the way it is. We couldn't change anything. So if things really were permanent, then it would be really depressing. That's much more depressing than things being impermanent. Because things being impermanent gives you lots of space. Possibilities. You can change. How horrible it would be if that wasn't possible. was always the way it was, and we were always the way we were, I mean, that would be really depressing. So we have to, I mean, I think it's important to see it in a positive, try to see it in a positive way, rather than a negative way. So, but yeah, I think if you are a teacher or a therapist and you're working with people, you do need to be attentive to their disposition and way of thinking, and not teach them things that could be upsetting to them. I mean, the Buddha himself was like that. He said that Buddha was a very skillful teacher, so when he met people, he was able to know what they could handle and what they couldn't handle. So he didn't teach the same things to everybody. He didn't teach emptiness to everybody, for example, because he could see for some people that would be too much. They wouldn't be able to handle emptiness. So he would teach them things that they could handle. It said he even taught some people that there was a permanent self, because they needed to hear that. That was necessary for them to be able to progress further. So, but for us, I mean, they say Buddha has this sort of clairvoyance. He can see people's mind, and he can see what they need and what's good for them and so on. But if we don't have that, then it's difficult. You have to be very careful. But I know the Dalai Lama sometimes talks about this Indian man that he met. And this Indian man had heard about the Buddhist idea of selflessness, no, permanent real self. And he was just like really freaked out. He was even like shaking, the idea of no self. He couldn't handle that. So yeah, we do have to be careful if we're talking about these ideas to people. It's difficult when you have a whole group of people. You can't know what's going to be suitable for each person. Anyway, does that answer the question?
Yeah, thank you, I think so. That was our conclusion too. We had the feeling if it is in the context of the whole Buddhism path, then it's okay. But maybe if it's only out of the context, only teaching impermanence, maybe lead to certain difficulties.
Yeah. And also, in the context of Buddhism, they say the sort of foundation of being a Buddhist, following the Buddhist path, is taking refuge. Taking refuge in the Buddha, the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So a Buddhist would be someone who has come to understand the good qualities of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and feels they're worthy of my devotion, my allegiance. I want to follow them. I want to follow this path, and so they are my objects of refuge. So, so I think for a Buddhist, then if one comes to feel kind of shaky or uneasy or depressed about some of these ideas, then they would take refuge. I was thinking about that this morning, because we really think about impermanence and how everything is impermanence, and we can feel a bit shaky, because, like I say, we have this tendency to want stability, something stable. But in the context of Buddhism, for Buddhists, a Buddhist would find that stability in their refuge. Because Buddha, what do you think, is Buddha permanent or impermanent?
It doesn't change.
Hmm?
He doesn't change, does he?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
He doesn't change.
The historical person is impermanent?
Huh?
The historical person is impermanent
Yeah,
because it doesn't exist anymore?
he
And then
died.
the Buddha nature maybe is permanent.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It's actually difficult to understand Buddha is. What is Buddha? But one explanation of Buddha is a Buddha has what are called four bodies, or kayas, the four kayas. Sometimes they say three, sometimes two. There's different ways of enumerating the kaya. I like to say the word kaya rather than body, because when we say body, we tend to think of a physical body, flesh and blood and bones. So Buddha doesn't have this kind of body, but a Buddha has these four different, I don't know, aspects or levels of existence. And one of these is what's called the nature body. That's the usual translation in English. Svabhava-vikaya, that's a Sanskrit term. Nature body. So that is the emptiness of a Buddha's mind. The emptiness of a Buddha's mind. The emptiness of a Buddha's mind. I mean, we also have emptiness. Our mind is also empty. There's emptiness of our mind and emptiness of our body. And so emptiness is also part of us, but we don't see it. That's our problem. It's there, but we don't see it. We're out of touch with our emptiness. But in the case of a Buddha has emptiness, and a Buddha is always aware of emptiness. Never forgets about emptiness. Is always in a state of seeing directly emptiness. So that's what's kind of special or unique about a Buddha. Always aware of emptiness. So the emptiness of a Buddha, the emptiness of a Buddha's mind, is a permanent phenomenon. So that's always there. That doesn't change. Never changes. But then another of the Buddha's bodies is called the Dharmakaya, or wisdom body, we say exalted wisdom body. So that's the Buddha's mind. That's the Buddha's mind. The Buddha's mind is said to be completely clear, free of all confusion, delusions, ignorance. Everything that's negative, unhealthy, wrong, mistaken has been totally cleared away. So it's totally clear mind. Fully developed as well. All the good qualities of compassion, love, kindness, wisdom, all the good qualities are fully developed, and all the negative qualities are completely gone. So Buddha's mind is like the ultimate state of mind, the highest state of mind that's possible. Now, that is impermanent, because it's mind. The nature of mind is impermanent. So even a Buddha's mind is impermanent. Even a Buddha's mind is impermanent. But saying that Buddha's mind is impermanent means it changes moment by moment. It never changes into something else. It never changes into an unenlightened mind. It's always an enlightened mind. It remains as enlightened mind, moment after moment after moment. So it changes, but it still stays the same in the sense of being enlightened mind, fully developed mind. So it's a bit like the river Danube over here, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
River Danube?
Yes, it is.
So it's been flowing for thousands of years, probably, right? And it's impermanent, right? It's changing all the time. Every moment you have different molecules of water flowing by, so it's never the same. It's never exactly the same from one moment to the next, but it still stays as the Danube River. It doesn't change into something else, right? So it's similar with a Buddha's mind. It's changing every moment, but it always stays as enlightened mind. So that is impermanent. So there's one aspect of Buddha that's permanent, one aspect that's impermanent. Then the other two bodies are what are called form bodies. These are bodies, plural, because Buddha, they are emanations of Buddha's mind. Buddha's mind has the ability to emanate in different forms, all over the place at the same time. Buddha can emanate as, figures of enlightened beings like Tara or Chenrezig or Manjushri. Buddha can also emanate as ordinary people, doctors or musicians or writers or whatever. Buddha can even emanate as animals, dogs and cats and birds. Buddha can emanate as inanimate objects, flowers, stars. So Buddha can emanate these different forms in order to communicate with people and help people to wake up. So those are also considered bodies of a Buddha. And those are also impermanent. Those are impermanent too. They go out, they come back. And they're changing. So those are impermanent. So some aspects of a Buddha are impermanent, but there's one aspect which is permanent, the Svabhavakaya, the nature body of Buddha. So in that sense, we can get it. We can feel there is something stable that we can rely upon. That is Buddha. Buddha will never disappear. Buddha will never go out of existence. Buddha will always be there and will always be compassionate, always aware of us with compassion, with love, with concern, ready to help us. So even though the world that we're in is impermanent, our body is impermanent, all of these things are not going to last forever, but there is something stable, something we can turn to, we can rely upon, and that is the Buddha and his teachings. I mean, the real refuge is the Dharma, because Buddha can't take away our suffering or make us enlightened, but by teaching us what we need to do, and then we follow that advice, we can reach that state of being free of suffering and being enlightened. So we can get to that state as well, that state of enlightenment, and that's by relying on the Dharma. So anyway, so I'm just mentioning this, that in case you think, well, if you're a Buddhist and you're meditating on impermanence and you get the sense of how everything is unstable and unreliable and changing, and it could be kind of scary or depressing, then as a Buddhist, this is what one would think, okay, there is something that I can rely upon, something I can get stability from. Does that make sense? I suppose it's similar with Christians, Catholics, or people who believe in a God. When they see all the problems in the world and they see, okay, we're all going to die one day, that can be a bit disturbing. But then they would receive comfort or relief in the idea that there's God, my Creator, who's loving, caring, looking after me, taking care of me. As long as I do what He asks, as long as I behave myself, I can rely upon Him and be taken care of. Did I do that? Huh?
Well,
That's not working.
Stecker, vielleicht der Stecker oder Kontakt.
The plug, maybe?
This is still on. Yeah, I'll just keep talking. I don't know if they're trying to record.
Is it so easy?
yeah, I have no idea. So.
We need this.
This has something to do, I think, with
für die Aufnahme.
Ja, ist da irgendwie von irgendwas gerutscht, irgendwie ein Kontakt, dass der getrennt wurde?
Ich habe gar nicht mich bewegt.
Nein, es ist ja nicht nur dort, es rennt ja irgendwie weiter, so irgendwas da in der Richtung.
This is the latest one.
Ja, aber das ist auch noch.
Du weißt das. Ja, du weißt das mit deinen
Stefan, dreh mal komplett ab und dreh es noch mal auf. Ja.
Aber irgendwas war mit einem besseren. Okay, in the break we will call Erich from the distance.
So let's just talk louder.
Ja. Können wir nicht einfach ein normales Mikro auf?
Ja, wir hören schon.
So, let's go.
Wie ist denn diese? Was ich tue?
Ist ein Mikrofonstativ?
Ja,
Nur wo?
hinter dem.
So turn this on.
Wir können es mal testen.
Genau.
Wollen wir es mal testen?
Ja, das bewegt.
Okay.
Ach ja, und wie geht das weiter? Ich habe das. Wie geht das?
Achso, das ist ja kaputt.
Achso.
It's broken.
No, you don't have to hold. Is this broken?
This is broken, yes.
This is okay. Don't break this too.
Like the pop star.
Yeah.
I don't want to have any complete disaster.
Oh, that will be a funny part of the video.
Wait a second.
That's it permanent?
This doesn't look good.
Now it's permanent.
It's not permanent.
Yes.
Just a test of our understanding.
Permanency.
Na, es ist verboten oder keine Ahnung. Gar nicht alles gebrochen, jedes Ständer da.
Muss man fixieren.
Ja, wie? Aber ich kann da stehen bleiben. Ja.
Du kannst die Tasche dranhängen hinten.
Als Gegengewicht.
Als Gegengewicht ist auch nicht schlecht. Na, die Tasche.
Does this help me
Yeah,
understand this too?
Da tun wir die Tasche.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was just thinking about Tibet.
Brauchen wir mehr.
In Tibet,
Yeah.
in Tibet they just have a micro,
Ja,
and they would have thousands of people sitting there teaching. So how? Maybe.
That is why they have so many different schools. Something different.
Sehr schön.
Muss schon mit der Pause.
Der war gut. Okay, we do like this.
Teaching. Chile post.
Everything's broken.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I've done this before. I don't mind.
Hold it all the time.
It's not going to be forever. Just an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not heavy. Like the barbell.
Okay.
Okay, so any last question before we move on to something else?
You couldn't finish your sentence. You started with,
I
you
forgot
started
what I said.
exact, I remember, I think I remember it. You said in Christianity it is like if there is God as a refuge, and if I behave myself then, and then this accident happens.
Like a cliffhanger.
We should not talk about Christianity.
No, I was just saying like a Christian would get comfort thinking that God, I mean I think they would believe God being permanent. The world is impermanent and we are impermanent, but God is permanent. So having a good relationship, a good connection with God would give comfort to people.
But it's also a little bit in Christianity, it's a little bit of fear as well. Because you have to behave yourself in order to go to heaven, otherwise you go to hell.
Yeah.
And this is permanent too, in Christianity.
Yeah, but I'm saying if someone is behaving themselves. I'm just saying this because my mother, for example, when I was with her, she was a very strong Catholic, very devoted. And before she died, she wasn't afraid at all. She had no fear of death, or what was coming. She was really calm and peaceful and accepting. And I think that's because of her faith in God. Because she really believed that God was there and He was taking care of her and He was looking after her and everything was going to be okay. She was in His hands. So I could see that belief gave incredible comfort and courage and peace of mind. So maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but for some people it would work. And it's the same with Buddhists. Many Buddhists, they have strong faith in the Buddha and His teachings. So as you're getting close to death, they're very calm and peaceful. They're not afraid. So I'm just saying there are ways in which one can experience calmness and peace, even when everything's falling apart. But there could be other ways as well. I'm sure there are people who don't have religious beliefs in God or Buddha or whatever, but they still have something that gives them strength and courage. So different things work for different people. Okay, so we were talking before about the self and whether it's permanent or impermanent. So Buddhism says it's impermanent, but we need to investigate that for ourselves, because the Buddha always said, don't just believe what I'm saying, but check it out for yourself, investigate it for yourself, come to your own experience of how things are. So that's something we need to investigate. And so as I mentioned, there are these, and still today, schools of thought in India that believed in a self as something permanent. And not only permanent, but they also said that this self, or this Atman, was something that existed independent of our body and mind. Right? So, according to Buddhism, basically what we are our existence is a combination of a body and mind. The body being all our physical things, blood, bones, cells, and atoms, and so forth. And then the mind, the experiences, thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and so forth. So all these things inside. So basically, that's what we are. That's what we're composed of, body and mind. Although the traditional Buddhist explanation is in terms of what are called five aggregates. Five aggregates. So that was the way Buddha explained a person. But the five aggregates in the simple form are body and mind. One of the aggregates is the form aggregate, which is our body. And the other four aggregates are all parts of the mind. Feelings, discrimination, compositional factors, which includes all the other mental factors, all the like emotions, anger and so forth, as well as positive emotions like faith. And then the fifth is the six consciousnesses: seeing, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and mental consciousness. So anyway, it's just a simple way is to say body and mind. So these other schools said that there was a self, a soul, an Atman, that was something other than the body and mind, separate from the body and mind. And it was permanent. He said it was permanent. And another characteristic it had was that it was something unitary or whole, and which means it didn't have parts. You can't divide it up into parts. So there are three characteristics to this Atman: permanence, being permanent, unchanging; being unitary, whole, indivisible; and being independent of the aggregates, the body and mind, something separate from the body and mind. So this is what they taught. This is what people studied, believed in, and so forth. But the Buddha, in his own experience, came to see that not such a self doesn't exist. There's nothing, which is no self, which is permanent, which has those characteristics of being permanent, being unitary without parts, and being separate from our body and mind. So this is a kind of basic tenet of Buddhism, something that sets Buddhism apart from the other schools of philosophy or other religions in India. And just to mention, the Indian philosophers or teachers who came up with this idea, they weren't just philosophers in the sense of people who just sat around and thought about things and then created these ideas in their mind, but there were, at least some of them, were meditators, people who practiced meditation. And they developed concentration, really good, strong concentration. And through the development of a concentrated state of mind, where you're able to just keep your mind concentrated for a long period of time without being distracted, you can then attain higher states of mind, what are called concentrations. There's what are called 4 concentrations, and then another 4 states of mind which are called formless absorptions. Have you heard about those? It's a subject that's not taught very much in Tibetan Buddhism, but in the Theravada tradition it's explained a lot, and people are actually striving to attain those states of mind because they're super strong states of mind. So if you can develop those states of mind and then use those states of mind to look at the true nature of things, trying to understand the true nature of things, they're like very powerful, with a very powerful laser beam that's able to penetrate through delusions and see things as they really are. So anyway, these meditators in India developed those states of mind, And when you develop those higher states of mind, then you get certain experiences. For example, you can remember past lives, you can remember your own past lives, and you can also see other people's past lives. You can look at a person and see, oh, last life that person was such and such, and they did this and that. So they say you can also see the future. You can also see where you're going to go in your next life and in future lives, and also with other people. You can see that. So they have that kind of experience, of being able to directly see. It's called clairvoyance in general. Clairvoyance, being able to see past lives and future lives. So with that experience, then they saw, okay, we die, but we are reborn. Yeah? We had past lives before, and we died, and then we were born, and after this life, and this life ends, then again we're going to be reborn. So it's on the basis of that experience that they developed the idea of a permanent, unitary, independent self, because they realized when, okay, we die, our body becomes a corpse and is buried or burned or whatever, and our experiences during our life, all these thoughts and feelings, all these things that happen in our mind during our life, those are also left behind. But there's something that gets reborn. There's some part of us that goes on and is reborn in another life. So I said, what is that? It's not the body. It's not the mind. Not the ordinary mind in the sense of our kind of thoughts and experiences of this life. There must be something else. So that's how they came up with this idea of an Atman, a soul, a self that's permanent and also separate from our body and mind and also indivisible. So that's my understanding. That's how one of our teachers explained it, how they're trying to answer the question, this question of what is it that goes from life to life. Because it's obviously not our body, and it's also not our normal mind in the sense of the experiences we have during our life. So it's something else. So that was their answer, their solution to that problem or question.
What is the difference between, in your eyes, between Atman and mind, the way Buddhists sees mind?
Well,
like never dying.
Yeah. But like I say, their explanation of Atman, or the characteristics of the Atman, were those three: permanent, unchanging.
We said before, mind doesn't die, so there is a permanent aspect of.
It doesn't die, but it's still impermanent. It changes.
Yeah.
So it's changing. So in that way, it's different. And unitary in the sense that it doesn't have parts. So we would say mind has parts. In fact, Buddhism says there's nothing which is unitary, nothing which doesn't have parts. Everything has parts. Everything is made up of parts. Whether it's something permanent or something impermanent, everything has parts. So there's nothing which is unitary. And the third characteristic is separate from the body and mind. So we say no, it's the mind. But then when it comes to what part of the mind goes from life to life, that's a question that Buddhists would explain differently. Because like during our life, because mind is a complex phenomena. Have you studied Lorik? Have you studied there's a subject they call Lorik, mind and mental factors. Have you studied that here?
Kanske once. Had 2 weekends on mind.
Yeah, it's kind of a complex subject to study the mind. But anyway, the mind can be divided up into different parts or different aspects. And one way of dividing it is into what are called primary minds or primary consciousnesses, of which there are 6 types related to our 6 senses. So visual consciousness and hearing consciousness and smell and taste and tangible, and then mental consciousness. So we have 6 types of primary mind or principal main minds. Then the other division of mind is mental factors. Mental factors, they say that the difference between a primary mind and a mental factor is that a primary mind is aware of just the sort of general presence of an object. For example, let's use the flower, nice little flower. So when we see an object like a flower, so this is visual consciousness. Out of the 6 types of consciousnesses, it's visual consciousness. Actually, we don't see flowers. What we see are shapes and colors. That's what our visual consciousness is able to perceive. Shapes and colors. So with our visual consciousness, we see a combination of shapes and colors, and then it's our mental consciousness that says, that's a flower. So, anyway, just to be precise. So there's a visual consciousness that sees the shapes and colors of the flower, okay, and it's just aware of the basic, a very general, rough existence of this object. And then mental factors, there are mental factors which accompany the main mind, which are sort of together with the visual consciousness. And the mental factors are more refined in the sense that they notice different things or experience different things. One example of a mental factor is feeling. So feeling, kind of experience, it's explained as experiencing the object as either pleasant, unpleasant, or neither, neutral. So usually we probably have a pleasant feeling when we look at a flower. Yeah, most people like flowers. That's why we have flower shops. People want to buy flowers and have them in their house and give them to their friends. We find them pleasant objects. So we probably have a pleasant feeling when we look at the flower. So the pleasant feeling, that's actually a mental factor. It's a mental factor of feeling. And then other mental factors will kind of discriminate the object. Oh, it's yellow, and it's a daffodil, you know? So kind of going into more details about the flower. So, what was I saying? So anyway, there's all these different aspects of the mind. Mind isn't just one thing, but it's many different factors and different aspects. And what was I talking
About the mind, because that the mind, what's the difference between soul and mind? And
yeah, so what I was going to say is that during our life, we have all of these experiences based on this body. Because in order to see things, we need an eye. We need an eye. And in order to hear things, we need an ear. And so forth. So we need this body with the senses, what are called the sense powers, which are part of the body, to be able to have these sensory experiences. So depending on the kind of body we have, then our mind will experience things in a different way. So like if we have a body of a dog or a body of a fly, okay, then our way of seeing things, our way of experiencing things will be different. So depending on the kind of body we have in this life, we will experience things in a certain way. And also depending on many other factors, such as this isn't something Buddhism talks about, but this is based on the Western view, based on our conditioning. We're born into a certain family, in a certain country, and we eat certain types of food, and we learn a certain type of language, and we learn certain things, certain concepts. So based on the experiences we have in this life and the conditioning we have in this life, then that will affect our experiences as well, the kind of experiences we have in our mind. Okay, so the experiences we have within a particular life, the kind of minds, the kind of mental things that happen during one life, those do not go to the next life, most of the time. And of course, some people are able to remember past lives. There are people who do carry over certain experiences from one life to the next. There's cases of little kids who talk about their past life, and they can have really vivid, clear memories of experiences from their past life. So that kind of thing can happen. But they say that usually those memories of past lives fade as they get older, right? So when they're small kids, up to the age of 5 or 6, they can still have those memories. But then this life takes over. So then those memories of the past life fade and they start having more of this life kind of experiences. So you can see that the experiences one has during one life are pretty much confined to that life and not carried over. So in the new life, in the next life, then we start having other experiences based on the body we have, based on our environment, relationships, conditioning, and so forth. So your original question, I'm not sure if I've...
It just seemed to me that there are similarities, and just the way how generous you see this term, you know, that there are Atman and mind is not so different. Because I don't know what they understood by permanence. You know, we said before, mind cannot die. It's impermanent in itself, but the existence of mind is permanent. And so they said is Atman. So it just seemed that maybe there isn't such a big difference. Then the Buddha said, yes, there is.
I think we could say there are similarities. There are similarities between their idea of Atman and our idea of mind continuing. But when you really get down to the details of what they're saying and what the Buddhists are saying, you would find differences. But you also find differences within Buddhism. Within Buddhism, you find differences about this whole idea of self, what is the self, and what is it that goes from life to life. So, but they generally say that there's a big difference between the Buddhists and the non-Buddhists with respect to what the Buddhists say is that the non-Buddhists are saying that the Atman is something independent or separate from the body and mind. It's like another thing. There's our body, there's our mind, and then there's this other thing. And that's the Atman, and that's the thing that goes from life to life. So Buddhists would say, no, that's not true. There isn't something else that goes from life to life. It's some part of our mind that goes from life to life. And so I think it's more the characteristics of that Atman. It's permanent. Now what they mean by permanent is also, I wonder, do they really mean unchanging, utterly remaining the same and not changing? It's not completely clear, but permanent and then unitary, partless, it doesn't have parts, and what's the other one? Independent, this separate thing, an independent thing. So the Buddhists would say that kind of self or Atman is actually something that doesn't exist. Because they say if it does exist, if there were such a thing, we should be able to find it. We should be able to find it. Point to it. There it is. That's it right there. But they say if you really investigate, you can't find such a thing. Such a thing cannot be found. So it's not that the Buddhists are just arguing for the sake of arguing. They're saying that you guys are asserting something, you're believing in something which actually doesn't exist. It's like a pink elephant, it's like a fantasy. And if you go on believing in that, you're just keeping yourself in a state of ignorance and confusion, and you're not going to get yourself out of suffering with such a view. So, but again, Buddhists said, check it out for yourself. This is my experience. This is what I came to see. But you have to investigate it for yourself. So anyway, that's what we need to do. we need to check, look into ourself, look into our experience, and try to determine if there is such a thing as this permanent, unitary, independent self. So that kind of self, as the Buddhists say, doesn't exist, but it's possible that people could have a conception of such a self, that people might have a state of mind where they believe in such a self. And if they do believe in such a self, then we need to check, is that a correct view or is that an incorrect view? Yeah.
What is the body that goes from life to life? Can you say something about this continuum? It goes, is this a body? Is this a form body? It goes from this life to another life to another life.
According to Buddhism? Or according to the non-Buddhist?
According to Buddhism.
What is it that goes from life to life?
This is a subject.
Well, there's different views in Buddhism.
Oh, okay.
Not everybody, not all the Buddhists agree. Some say it's the mental consciousness, because they say our five sense consciousnesses, seeing, hearing, smell, and so on, they're dependent on this body. So when this body doesn't exist anymore, they also don't exist anymore. But the sixth consciousness, the mind, the mental consciousness, okay, that is more stable. But again, the mental consciousness, we have to say, because the mental consciousness also has many different parts. And I can see that, when a person dies and then they're reborn, they usually don't remember. They don't have memories of all their past experiences. So it's kind of like the mental consciousness starts off brand new, like a slate, a blackboard that's been wiped clean. And then you can start writing new things on it. So it's kind of they say it's a sort of subtle type of mental consciousness that goes from life to life. And then there's one Buddhist school which is called Mind Only, or Chittamatra. And they have an interesting explanation. They say there are 8 consciousnesses. 8 consciousnesses. So there's the usual 6 plus 1 which is called the mind basis of all. Mind basis of all, Alaya Vijnana. And this is explained as a kind of storehouse consciousness. Because they say that actually the mental consciousness isn't very stable. That's not a very stable thing that can go from one life to the next. So they have this 8th type of, or this additional type of consciousness, which is called a storehouse consciousness. And that, it's called a storehouse consciousness because they say all the karma that we create gets stored in that consciousness. So that's the thing that goes from one life to the next, carrying our karmic seeds into the next life. So it's something other than the 6 consciousnesses. And then the 8th consciousness is called an afflicted mind. And that's a kind of deluded mind, which observes the storehouse consciousness, the Alaya Vijnana, and thinks it's an I. Thinks it's a real I. So that's a deluded consciousness. But they say that the storehouse consciousness, the 8th, one of these additional consciousnesses, is the thing that goes from life to life. And then in Tantra, they have another explanation as well. They say it's the very subtle mind of clear light. But that's not usually talked about in the sutra system. So anyway, within Buddhism there are different views, different explanations of what it is that goes from life to life. It's complicated. It's complicated.
We have actually 2 books downstairs. Geschrieben haben wir den auch nicht. La von Rinpoche. It's now translated. It's about mind. about the epistemology and the psychological aspect. The same like with Geshe-Ratner, mind and mental factors. So there's one downstairs about the mind. One of the explanations.
Yeah, I think the book by Geshe-Ratner is a bit easier to read. The
Yeah.
one of Lhasa Rinpoche, it's difficult. It's better to study it with a teacher, but to just pick it up and read it on your own could be quite difficult. But the one by Geshe-Ratner is already kind of explained in an easy way for Western people. So you can read that one.
Geistesfaktoren. Geist und
Geist und seine
Geistesfaktoren ist der
Funktionen.
Titel. Oder Geist und seine Funktionen, genau.
How about a break? Do you want to have a break? Yeah, this is hard stuff.
Or joining Buddhism, discovering Buddhism. The first module is about mind and mental factors.
But you don't go into all the details about
In some, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. We work through 7 nights. Mm.
Oh, okay.
And the useful to Geshe Pashi's foundation.
Yeah, you should talk
On
about
it.
that. Okay, so about 15 minutes?
Yep.
And then we'll just have another 45 minutes to